What's up, Middle Georgia Dog Pound? Welcome to another edition of the Middle Georgia Dog Pound Live. I'm your host, Brian. Matt, Kevin, what's up, fellas?
What's up, brother? Good to be back.
How you doing?
3-0, baby. 3-0. No matter how it looked, no matter how it felt. Still 3-0.
All that matters is the W on the end.
That's it. The dub is all that matters. Hey, guys, got a great show for you tonight. Looking forward to recapping the chicken plucking that took place in Sanford. It may have taken the second half to get it done, but heck, we got it done. We're definitely going to cover that. We're going to go over the UAB Blazers and what it's going to take to pull out a win there and what we want to see to improve that game. And then finally, your pick'em games of the week. I think that's going to be the most fun discussion that we've had this far in the college football season, and looking forward to hearing everybody's predictions on the show. Make sure you go on and give us your comments. We definitely want to hear from you. And as always, if this is your first time on the show, make sure you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook to give StreamYard permission to use your icon and your name on the show so we can see who's commenting on the show. We definitely want to hear from you. Additionally, if you want to reach out to us, you want to be a guest, or you have a product you want to feature on the show, we'd love to talk to you. We have an email. It's middlegeorgiadogpound@gmail.com. That's middle G-A, dog spelled like it should be, D-A-W-G, pound@gmail.com. All right, cool beans. Well, guys, let's run that game highlights, and then let's get into this thing. What do you say?
Do it.
Today, top-ranked Georgia, the Gamecocks beat for the 76th time. The winner will have a leg up on the other as the conference division race and the march to Atlanta here this afternoon. The SEC opener is here in Athens today, featuring 2-0 Georgia and a 1-1 South Carolina team, the last program to defeat the Dogs between the hedges 4 seasons ago.
Yeah, absolutely. We're ready to be a factor today. We need the crowd's energy. We want to get some turnovers. We want to get some turnovers. We want to be explosive. We're calling it a relentless attack. That's what we need.
It may not be pretty. Hell, it may rain. I don't care. It will not always be perfect. Something's going to happen we don't like. How are we going to respond? How are we going to respond to that? I know how we're going to respond because I've seen this team do it over and over and over again.
Weaves his way through the Georgia defense and into the end zone. Sets up the throw. Beck being pressured, and he gets hit, and he will go down back at the 40. 4, 5, maybe even 6 guys, and that's going to be the last play of the quarter. And the Dogs ended on a sack. So the Dogs heading into the locker room, trailing South Carolina. Upset alert. South Carolina 14 and Georgia 3 on a soggy day in Athens.
God, I know the last thing Kirby Smart said coming out of halftime was we get the ball first, we get a chance to set the tempo for the second half.
The message for the Bulldogs, let's go out and be the hunter here. Got to cash in to come back and get the win.
Ultra important how the Dogs respond here in this first drive. Go down and get some positive things going on offense.
Your job is not done until you're what? The job's done. The job's not done until the job's done. You with me? If it takes 60 minutes to change the way they think, that's what we're going to do.
Fake here to Milton. Beck wants to throw deep. He's got Rara, and Rara makes the catch at the South Carolina 29. And here's Milton jumping over bodies on the left side of the field. Pushing around the backside of Beck. Handed off to Edwards. Big hole! Touchdown straight ahead, standing up. Wow, it's a huge hole. Edwards, no problem at all. Cradled the football, covered it up. We're gonna hunt today! Michael Williams with his second sack of the year. Incomplete at the 16 on the near sideline.
One play at a time. One play at a time. That's all we need. One moment.
It's caught at the 35, down to the 30. Rosemy-Jackson angled to the Georgia sidelines, handed to Bell, left tackle, end zone, touchdown. Bell with a big gaping hole left side, angled right into the end zone. Gamecocks. Deep ball, far sideline, and intercepted, I think, Jackson. Dan Jackson in a crowd, picked it off.
He really like that.
Cash Jones, Cash Money to the house, right side, touchdown! Broke out of a big hole on the right, sprinted to the pylon. Cash Jones with the score. They picked it off, and this will secure the victory.
First SEC home game, nail biter. We always find a way to get it done, though. Love my boys, love my troops, man. On the UAB. Let's do it.
Tough game between the hedges, fellas. Tough game between the hedges, but we did see our dogs, and they proved to us that they were resilient and come back out in the second half and busted people in the mouth. Let's talk a little bit about what you saw in the first half, and what was our issues in the first half, Matt?
I think there's there's a few different things that we don't see originally when we're watching the game in the moment, in the emotion, when I actually rewatched the game, kind of saw just some missed opportunities. Missed some opportunities. We missed some field goals. Let's just be real. We missed some 2 chip shot field goals in the game, and that kind of would have impacted the start of the drives. But we missed some receivers who were open. I know Beck came alive in the second half. But I think the first half he was really checking those check down receivers and running backs, and really kind of, I wouldn't say he's playing safe, but he's really trying to manage the game well. He does that really well, but he's got to let some of that stuff loose. He needs to get some of that steps in him and get some little gunslinger action going as well. That's the thing is between those two guys, they really they're opposites. It's a good thing they're kind of opposites. We would watch games in the past with Stetson, and he would miss wide open guys, check down guys, and we would like shake our heads like, what is he doing? And then he throws a ball deep downfield, and we're like, oh, we forget about it. So seems kind of some of that is a little different here with Becker. He's hitting those check down guys, gaining those yards, making those long drives, but still had to pull the trigger out on some of those downfield drives. But oh my gosh, what a difference to have running back one back, right? Having your starting running back, it was a tremendous difference and a fresh air to me. That's was my biggest impact. Yeah, defensive wise, I feel like we had some maybe personnel lineup issues for me. I won't say issues, but where we had their best receiver that we even called out in the show, Leggett, like this guy's going to be, these are biggest target, and they kept throwing to him. And who do we see? We see first-time starter, third game as a starter, sophomore out there covering this guy. Like, why do we not have, why do we not have our starting cornerback, the others, have him covering him? And when he was covering, what happened? He didn't catch the ball. So I don't know, that was just when they lined up, they got confused. I don't know what it is, or maybe how they saw the field. I mean, I'm not a coach, so I don't claim to know it. Just claim to trust the guys out there who are making the big bucks and do it.
John Akaki says Fourfinger has his fingers all over it. So I guess he said you're hitting all the points. Yeah, I totally agree. It's almost like when you were talking about the offense, that Beck was playing to not make a mistake, right? So we're doing these little dinks and dunks. He's not taking these shots downfield. He missed several opportunities. And I get it. And maybe he's getting flushed from the pocket. And I think John Akaki sent this to me too, saying that we're bringing like 6 on almost on every play. And so how do you defend 6 and 7 rushers with 5 guys, right? So, but we missed a bunch of guys. We missed Dylan Bell, blitzing, blasting down the sideline. I think maybe him and Jack Saint. Yep, we missed him several times.
Yeah, so that one play, that one play where they did the, what do you call it, the toss back, the running back gets the ball and tosses it back to the quarterback. He was the football. He went to Bowers on that play, which is still a 20-yard throw, but Jack Saint was down the field, no one covering. They all sucked up to get Bowers, and he was I think let's go to my guarantee catch, and we just don't see his guys wide open. And when Beck realizes that his possession receiver is Jack Saint, we're gonna start seeing some lot more downfield passes because that joker can catch the ball. I mean, he's going to be your possession receiver, the guy that you depend on more than anything else, and until we get McConkey back at some point in the season, hopefully.
Yeah, they definitely targeted Dalen Everett. I mean, they went after him big time, and he was struggling. Let's be honest, he was struggling to cover that wide receiver on the corner. So I'd love to hear Bill Krug give his assessment of the defense the first half. I'm sure he'd pick it apart. But Kevin, what did you see?
We missed Bullard big time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
You hit my point before I could even make it. That's the point I was going to make. Bullard, we're missing him huge in that backfield, man. He's our experience. He's our playmaker back there. He's the guy that we all said that we were going to need to step up in the to replace Christopher Smith in that backfield, and he was going to do it. But injuries prevent you from doing your job, and it shows. I mean, it showed huge, and especially in that first half of that game. South Carolina ripped us apart, and I think you alluded to this before, Brian. You never know who you're going to get, on that quarterback side, and we got the good
Spencer Rattler. Mm-hmm.
Rattler, yeah. He ripped us apart in that first half, but I have to commend the Dogs, man. They come out, they dug their teeth in, they were resilient. That's the caliber of a championship team. If we think back, I know Matt doesn't want to hear this, but if you think back to when Alabama was making their run, you just got to think. Here it is. They always had a way to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the caliber of a championship team. It doesn't matter if you have them down. If they can sink their teeth in, dig down deep, and find a way to win in the tough games, even if you should be blowing this team out. It doesn't matter. You still come out and find a way to win. And that's what Georgia did, plain and simple.
Yeah. And to give South Carolina some credit, I mean, they had a great game plan. I mean, they had dialed up all the right plays at the right time, and they executed, which that's not typically what happens with Spencer Rattler. He doesn't typically execute right. I mean, let's be honest, he was running for his life when he made a lot of them throws, man, and they were still dimes. And so I'll give it to him. Justin Little says this game had me drinking way too many Miller Lights.
That was your first mistake, was Miller Lights. No, so I mean, I was texting you guys in the game. I went back and watched it. And there were so many non-penalties called throughout that first half that eventually got called in the second half. I mean, the first touchdown, that little screen pass that the guys ran 20 yards into the touchdown that he ran. If you watch it again, when he first makes the first cut, Starks is right there to tackle him, and their offensive lineman grabs him from behind on their shoulder pads and holds him back. Never gets called. I mean, that guy makes that tackle. If anything, knocks him off of his kilter, and someone else to get there for it. Yeah, Dan Jackson missed the tackle, but it never should have got to Dan Jackson. Starks was right there on top of it, and that never got called by the refs. And there were tons of other times where we were holding on us, where we guys were running after guys, and they're getting turned around. It just never got called. It's kind of like watching a little bit of the Ohio State game again. And like I said, I hate banging on players, but and I know he's part of the future. But David Daniels, man, that guy can tackle, but he cannot cover, and that was evident last year, and it's still prevalent now. He is struggling to cover. If it's receivers or tight ends and coming out of the backfield or coming off the line, he just doesn't know where to go when it comes to coverage. But yes, tackling, the guy's open field, he'll make a tackle. I'll give it to him. I appreciate that. But he is struggling hardcore with covering those guys and the safety position.
Ken Lalonde says, did anyone else think they took the delay of game on purpose to get on the short field goal to get a better angle for the kicker?
They most definitely did. And he still missed it.
And then John Akaki says, yeah, our kicker is not great. Yeah.
Freshman, man. He's a freshman.
Well, I heard Kirby say in the press conference today or yesterday that the kicking competition is still ongoing. And so we may see a different kicker this week. Who knows?
And he's going to get a kicker from UT Martin.
Well, you got to think about it, though. This guy was last year playing high school ball with maybe 1,000 people in the stands, if that, like 1,000, which is a big crowd for high school. And now he's playing against, 93, 95,000 people. That's a completely different situation for somebody. And, that's why,
the same thing today.
And that's why I'm a big component to. I mean, yes, I think scholarship punters are a good thing coming out of high school or whatever it may be. But I think if you really want a legit kicker, you need to get someone in the transfer portal. That sounds bad. Or transfer in someone who has a few years of mistakes somewhere else and bring them in. I mean, that's just in my thought process this day and age. You don't get too many of those Blankenships that grow up in the system and wait their time out and get better, and change the culture of kicking in your program all the time. So
I agree with that statement.
When you get Kevin Butler back on the staff.
Kel Newsom says, what do y'all think about our DB Lassiter?
Joker's aggressive. He's aggressive and he is passionate. And I think it hyped. I think one of the biggest areas when he made that opening tackle he showed there, that big, huge hit, he feels it. I think that's why he hits himself in the head so much. He feels the crowd. He loves it, and he wants to hit. He wants to prove himself. He wants to prove that he wasn't the second-tier guy last year, that he was better than Ringo, and I think that he wants to prove that.
Yep. Well, guys, I know we've heard this halftime speech by Kirby, and I think it's gone viral all across the nation. But if you haven't heard it, I got it tonight. I'm gonna let you hear it. This explains it all of why people want to run through a wall for him.
We got number one team in the country down 14-3. They won that already. That's what they say. That's all they get. They say they won already. We at the crib with it.
Hey, DYJ, do your job. Keep your eyes in the right place.
Come on, man.
Trust your teammate. That's what we do around here. We trust our teammate.
Come on, man.
Trust it, baby. Trust it.
No more excuses. No more pivoting. None of that. Get the play and do that full speed, bro. I love y'all boys.
Here's the negative. We got to finish on the quarterback. Okay, we got to finish on the quarterback. Okay, and we got to window our leverage. I mean, hey, if we're inside leverage, let's just win inside. Hey, we're outside leverage, win outside, we got to tackle better. We let next thing drive. Right now, we said we got to route him. He's 16-18. Okay, but some of that is just us, unforced.
You got to just execute one play at a time. Stay in it, react to the moment, don't overreact, okay? Take care of the damn ball. Let's go.
Hey, guys, listen to me. I need all your eyes in here, okay? This is what we train for. This is what we work for. This is who we are. We sat right here, and we had an identity game against Missouri on the road. You know what? It was very similar to this. It was sloppy. It was nasty. It wasn't pretty. And then we came out, and we found a way. We always said it would not be pretty. Here's the goal for the second half. We're going to get about 6 possessions on offense. 6 possessions, y'all got me? Including the first one. We're going to score on 4 of them, okay? They might score once more on defense, but that's it. You understand? And we're going to win the game. We're going to come back in here and have a good time and figure out how we can get better. But this is what I need. This is what I need. Anybody listening? We need to win one moment at a time. What's the first moment? Kickoff return.
Georgia is trailing. It is not how things usually go in Athens.
What's the next moment? The first play on offense.
Beck wants to throw deep. He's got Rah-Rah.
Not the drive, the first play.
And Rah-Rah makes the catch.
We're going to win one moment at a time because we're not outcome related. We're not worried about the outcome of that play. We're worried about winning a moment, Ernest. Can I win one moment? And then everybody, look at that attack. He say, one more moment, coach. You say one more moment, Rush. We say it. One more moment. One more moment. Marcus, one more moment. You got me? You look me in the eye and tell me, Rah-Rah, it's going to be one more moment on the fade. One more moment, and we go kick their ass by how we play. Let's go. Let's go.
I love how Kirby Smart, one thing I took away from that is he had no doubt we were going to win that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was no doubt. And then he just said, hey, we got to make it simple. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Mm-hmm. Just one play at a time. One play at a time. We ain't going to make it up in big chunk plays. We're going to do it one play at a time. And Buddy went out there and punched him in the mouth. And so sometimes it's good to be for us to be punched in the mouth. But I love it when we go back and punch somebody back.
Yeah, and that whole speech was pretty much telling them that the defense was going to shut them down. He said, we're going to get 6 possessions, which means we're going to stop them and we're going to get the ball back. So offense go to work.
Yep. John Akaki said it showed confidence. Winners are confident. Yep. Totally agree. Yeah, and
that defense stopped them every drive too. They did not score another point. And then they were dominating that first half, and they were running all over our defense. And the defense come back out, stopped them, and never let them score another point the rest of the game.
Yep. And we did what we needed to do. We needed to just execute and one play at a time, and we did it. And so it gives me confidence that maybe this was our Missouri from last year, right? Because that it seemed like our team was totally different after the Missouri game last year. Once we got punched in the mouth by Missouri, after that we just turned on the gas and put the pedal to the metal all the way through the SEC championship, and we never let up. So I pray that that's what we'll see this week. We'll see a different mentality on the field. We'll see a different sense of urgency with our players when they come out on the field, and we won't sleepwalk through the first quarter like we have for the last 3 games.
Most definitely.
John Akaki says, profound message by our head coach, Kirby, on point always. Yeah, he just has an innate ability, right, to deliver the right message at the right time. And every single year he's got a different message. I think the first year he was there, it was seize the day, right? And this year is
eat off the floor.
Eat off the floor. Yep, eat off the floor. And so there's just he's a great communicator. And I think that's what's going to make him great. And I heard somebody say today, I think it was Terrence Edwards on Dog Nation Daily when I was listening to him today. He says, I love Coach Rick, love him to death, great person, great coach, love Coach Dooley, and love everything that he did for us. He said, but Kirby Smart will be the best coach that Georgia's ever had in Georgia's history because of where he's going to take this program. He said you could see the trajectory that we're on, and we're going to be on this trajectory for the next 10 to 15 years. And I thought that was pretty profound to come out of Terrence Edwards' mouth during the show today. But cool stuff. Well, guys, you got any other facts? Any stuff you want to mull over from the South Carolina game?
No, that game's over. Let's move on.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I'm kind of like Justin Little. It'd make you want to drink, and if you don't drink, it'd make you want to do it. That's for sure. That was a rough one. That is a rough one. So let's jump into it, man. Let's go ahead and run that trailer for the UAB game, and we'll talk about this thing. Oh, before I do that, I almost forgot. We got some news on Monday night, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about it. But our DGD, man, Nick Chubb, suffering that gruesome knee injury in the game against the Steelers. It just breaks my heart, man, to see this kid. This man, he's not a kid anymore. He's a grown man. But to see him go through what he's gone through to be at the top of the pinnacle with college football, right? I mean, college football, and then at the top of pinnacle in NFL, everybody loves him in NFL. There's not a single person that speaks a negative word about him, and he goes out and does the right things. He works hard. He keeps his mouth shut and his head down. And I just pray that he's able to come back. And if there's anybody that can do it, we know it's Nick Chubb, right?
That's right.
Just pray that he's able to come back. Our Dog Pound is praying for him, and we definitely lifting him up because I know that's going to be a struggle to have to go through that and fight back again. And then I pulled this one too because I wanted to show it here. I'll move this out of the way. But for all the folks that have been on our Dog Pound page that are bashing our coaching staff and bashing our players, I'm sorry, but you weren't hired to be a couch quarterback. You weren't hired to be a couch coach. I know we all have our opinions, but we got to remember these are college football players and they're kids and they're trying to juggle a class load and this athletic load of being a player. They are consumed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's not hardly an ounce of downtime. And so for anybody to be on here screaming about Bobo needing to be fired, I don't think Bobo had anything to do with the missed tackles. Just don't. Don't see him coaching anybody up to tackle people. I'm not sure that an offensive coordinator does that. I'm not sure that an offensive coordinator has anything to do with blown coverage on defense. Our issues were not that we couldn't move the ball. Maybe we got some red zone issues. Yeah, I'll give you that. But we missed field goals, and then we let the defense let South Carolina score in the first half. But we fixed those things in the second half, and here we are. We're talking about an undefeated season still. So for all you couch quarterbacks and couch coaches, chill, give some people some grace, and know that you aren't perfect either. So that's my spiel. And now I'm going to run that UAB trailer.
What do we say? One moment at a time. One moment at a time. One moment at a time. We're going to win the game. One piece at a time. Did we not say that? Just one stop. One play. It will not always be perfect.
You know what it's going to be? It's going to be relentless. It's going to be for 60 minutes. And the job ain't done until it's done.
Come out there and go to work and show me. Job's not done until the job's done. It's going to take 60 minutes to change the way they think. That's what we're going to do.
You are ready to go. All right? Go out there and lay it on the line. That's what sacrifice is about.
All right, guys. UAB just across the border there in Alabama. We faced them 2 years ago. It was the first time Carson Beck was able to see the field for any substantial play, and that was the last time he saw the field that year with any substantial play. If you guys don't remember, Carson Beck was on the field. He threw the interception and just stood there and watched the guy run it back for a pick six. So that was the last time that he saw the field that year, and it was the Stetson Bennett and JT Daniels show for the rest of the year. Carson Beck rode the pine hard, and I think he learned from that mistake. That is for sure. So UAB's mascot is Blaze. As you guys know, it's a fire-breathing dragon. Blaze is the mascot for the University of Alabama Birmingham athletics team. He's he's been the mascot since 96. Yep. 96. Pretty cool helmets that they have, if you guys don't remember, but I think in the game that they played us, they typically go with a white helmet with the dragon logo on the side. For our game, they played with a chrome helmet, which was pretty sweet with that logo. And so it was a really cool look for UAB during that game. UAB's head coach is Trent Dilfer. I'll say that again. Trent Dilfer. If that name sounds familiar, it should. He played in the NFL as an NFL quarterback. He is a Super Bowl quarterback. Played with the Baltimore Ravens in 2000, led them to a 34-7 victory over the New York Giants. So there you go. Another NFL player who is trying his hand at coaching. Apparently, he did a really good job at Lipscomb Academy in Nashville. We had led them to back-to-back state titles, and so the UAB brought him on over, and so I've listened to him a couple of times on the McElroy and Kublik show, and he's pretty impressive. His football acumen is really high, and so this week they talked a little bit about how he was looking forward to playing in the SEC, and so thought I'd throw that little video up for you guys.
You played in a lot of big-time atmospheres like Athens. How do you...
I've never played anything like this. I've been to one SEC game. My daughter's being recruited at the University of Alabama, and we went to the Ole Miss Alabama game. And to this day, I think the Kentucky Derby is the coolest thing I've ever been able to go to, live sports. I think it's better than Super Bowls. An SEC football game at night is way better atmosphere than a Super Bowl. I think it's the second coolest thing I've ever been to as a spectator. So I'm personally really excited about going to an SEC game at night. It's different. I mean, their slogan is just means more. It's different. It's true.
Pretty profound for UAB head coach to come in and make that comment, I thought. What did you think, Matt?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit ago. It's kind of weird to think that Super Bowl presence is more impactful. It's more of an environment than Super Bowl. But I guess the difference between being a Super Bowl, playing it, and watching it. So maybe that's his viewpoint.
Yep, totally agree. Well, jump in here, share your little tidbits on the UAB offense and what we should expect this week.
Well, I already know we're going to beat them because his sponsor there was Pepsi, so we're definitely going to take them down now. That being the case. So as we start out here, we'll start at the top of their quarterback. So this is their quarterback. His name is Jacob Zeno. So some of y'all may not realize, but you'll recognize him a little bit because he actually played at Baylor for 3 years before he came to UAB. So he actually played against us in the Sugar Bowl in 2019, where after their quarterback, I forget his name, was injured after a big hit out of bounds. He came in and played for about 7 or 8 snaps before that guy got back in the game. Didn't do well in that game. Once again, he was a freshman at that time. So now he's playing here with UAB. He's been there for them this year. He is the 8th leading passer in the nation right now. And their offense is the 14th ranked passing offense in the nation. He's almost got about 1,000 yards so far. He's a few yards off of 1,000 yards, which is pretty good after 3 games. Now, that's about the extent of their team. Their team has a good passing offense, and that's what keeps them in games the majority of the time. But not a great stellar team overall, as you'll hear from Kevin on defense piece. But this is what we have. So you're gonna have a really good guy. He passes the ball a lot. He's got almost 1,000 yards. He's got 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. One thing they do well is he spreads the ball around a lot. So you go on a lot of these teams we've seen so far this year, they may have 1 or 2, main guys that they really key in on passing. They have a bunch. He's also the second leading rusher for the team with almost 100 yards rushing. He's got 94 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns rushing. So he'll also be an impact in the run game. So we need to make sure we contain him pretty well. To get on to the running backs, they have their 2 running backs that they will feature. Like I said, he's a second leading rusher, so I got their first and third rushers here. The first one is Jacobs here. He's got about 127 yards rushing, and he averages almost 5 yards a carry, about 4 and a 7th, and then he's got 1 touchdown. He has received the ball. He got 31 yards receiving. Once again, they keep them very well in the passing game as well to keep the ball moved around and spread out the field. But then also have their senior running back, Brown, who has 87 yards with 3 touchdowns, and he averages about 4 yards. But he also has 53 yards receiving as well. So moving to the receivers, I got here for us 4 out of their top 5 receivers. And so we have Palmer, Rudolph, Dumas, and Hooks. So I have these guys here. These are the main receivers that we have here. Dumas we'll get to in a second, which are tight end, but these are the three main receivers. Like I said, they spread the ball around a lot. So they have, 49 yards, 127 yards, 108 yards, 106 yards. So the ball is getting moved around to these guys a lot throughout the game. We're going to see a lot of their names being called. There will not be one keyed in on player throughout this game. I have to say, though, to all these guys here, all of these are seniors. So they do have some experience there in their wide receiver core. And as we get to their tight end here with Mr. Dumas, he's their fourth receiving lead receiver for them. Still pretty well. I mean, catching 12 passes so far is pretty. That's almost 4 passes a game for a tight end, which is pretty good. Still 100 yards. He'll definitely have an impact as well. He's a sophomore. He's a senior as well. I apologize. And so these are their main focus for these guys throughout their offense. I mean, we'll see a lot of passing, not a whole lot of rushing. We'll probably see 3-to-1 pass run ratio, but the quarterback also does run. So we got to be aware of that presence as well. So that's pretty much what we have on offense.
Thanks, Matt. Kevin, what you got for us on defense, brother?
Well, first off, I want to reiterate what Matt was saying about this team. This team is a struggling team. They're going through this year, and they've barely getting by. This team has allowed 379 yards of offense from the opposing teams, 189 passing yards, and 109 rushing yards. And that's going to play to our advantage, especially with Edwards coming back. Hopefully he can get in this game and really spread his wings, if you will, and show us what he's got for this season. Hopefully he's ready to do that, and they can just let him loose in this game and be ready for the oncoming onslaught of SEC play that's down the road. First off, I would like to highlight our senior player, Keandre Swoops. He's a fifth-year senior, 6 foot 190 safety out of Alabama. This kid has accrued 19 tackles this season. He's really coming forward. He had a big year last year with 33 tackles overall. This is going to be somebody that you really want to watch out for. He's going to be all over the field trying to disrupt that passing game. He's going to be blasting our receivers. He likes to come in and he likes to hit big. This is one of those guys that you're going to hear his name called. So definitely look for Swoops to make be a playmaker in this game. Our next player is Kevin Penn. He is a junior. He's one of those is a big time playmaker. He's only got 4 tackles, but he's got 2 sacks on the season in 2 games. So that's huge at the defensive line position. He likes to get in and disrupt the run game, get in and push the guys around, and make a disruption to make sure that you cannot run the ball on him. He didn't play that much over the last 3 seasons, so it seems like he's trying to make a name for himself in his junior season, becoming one of the starters on that defensive line. So watch out for him to make a disruption in our run game. Thirdly is Jackson Brayton. He is a linebacker. He likes to get in, and he's a ball hawk. He's going to watch where the ball is going, fly all over that line, watch for those run plays. He's going to be there to tackle our running backs and be in that little short dump pass where they're dumping over the middle. He's going to be there to try to make those quick tackles on our our tight ends, and when they throw over the middle, the little short shuttle passes, anything like that, he's going to be there to watch and disrupt it. He's also going to be on that quarterback blitz. He's at 2 sacks for the season. So this guy is not that rookie linebacker that you normally see on these small school teams. He's going to be there to disrupt our run game as well as those little short passes. These are just some little highlights. Like I said, this is a defense that's struggled in stopping the offenses. So these are just 3 guys that I found that have made names for themselves on this team.
Cool beans, cool beans. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you bringing us up to speed on the defense. Got a few comments here. Says Grady Darcy says, I see UGA establishing the defensive line and bringing the linebackers. Yeah, I don't know how much we're going to see, how much blitz we're going to see in this game. I guess it depends on what package, how quick they're getting the ball out. But, yeah, I definitely see us dialing some things up to test some things out against this UAB team. And we'll get into our predictions here later. But I see our defense playing lights out. Let's see. John Akaki says Ivy has been saving up now for our wing night, which be at Macon's new Taco Mac. Little plug for Taco Mac there. Maybe we can get a sponsorship.
No kidding.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. All right, well, guys, we're at that point in the show now where we're going to talk about the pick'em games, and I think this week, in my opinion, it's going to be the most fun that we've had in a long time. So let's jump right into this thing. What do you say? Before we do that, Matt wanted me to bring everybody up to speed on where we are with our predictions. We're not doing so hot, guys. Our pick'em games are about 500 here. Apparently, I lead the way with 8-7, which is not much to be said there. We got to do a little better job on our research here and picking the right games. But
to our defense, this has been a weird year in college.
It has been a weird year in college football. That is for dang sure. It has been weird. But I tried to pick along with a khaki most times, and so that's probably why I'm 8-7.
I guess I'll start calling Hunter beforehand and getting it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what you need to do.
Yep, that is what you need to do. All right, so the first game this week, FSU, number 4 FSU goes to Clemson to take on the Tigers. What do you say, Kevin? Who do you have in this? And give me your spiel of what you're thinking.
Well, early in the season, Clemson fell to Duke. That was their downfall. And then this past week, FSU struggled with Boston. So it's one of those things that it's who's going to struggle less in this game, I think is what it's going to come out to be. This is a noon game on ABC. I think that it's going to be pretty much a slugfest between these two teams. Who's not going to suck the most, to be honest with you. Who's not going to struggle the most? I've got Clemson winning this one in a close one, 33-27.
Ooh. All right, Matt, what you say?
So if we look at these two teams and we would say, why is it even a pick? Because we have an unranked team versus a top 5 team. But I think after that game last week with Boston College, we all kind of questioned, was Florida State looking to this game and they just weren't prepared? Or is it just one of those games that every school kind of has where they just don't play up to the competition? But let's look at it. If Boston College doesn't have 18 penalties, that game may have been way worse off for Florida State than it was. They may have gotten beat by 2 touchdowns. And so, we can't go back and say the what-if game, but I'm surprised that the point system is only 2.5 points. I really am. I thought it would be a lot heavier with the media loving Florida State. I'm going to take Florida State. I just don't think Clemson has I would love to see an upset. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Clemson. I would love for Kevin to be right on this one. I'd love to be wrong. But I'm gonna go Florida State because I think it's still gonna be a close game. I don't think Clemson's the team that they've been in the past. I don't think home field advantage is gonna get that much, especially like I said, it was maybe night game in Death Valley, maybe, but it's a noon game. So let's see who drinks too much before the game. Let's see what happens.
I was just about to say the same thing. If this was a night game, we would be having a totally different conversation, but it is not. It is a noon game. So let's see what everybody else has to say here. John Akaki says FSU 35-17. Let's see. Grady Darcy says FSU 42-31. Wow, that's a lot of points. That is a ton of points. Ken Lalonde says Clemson derails FSU 27-24.
You're right.
John Akaki says Clem and his son are making moonshine. Dad says 34, FSU 27. Maybe.
Gotta go with Daddy.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So are you picking FSU, Brian? You didn't really.
I hadn't said yet.
State that.
I hadn't said yet. So I saw some improvement. I saw some improvement from Clemson. I see they were able to make some improvement with their offensive woes, and they've been able to move things forward and start scoring some points. But I'm still taking the Noles on this one, y'all. I think the Seminoles are gonna come in there to make a statement. They haven't beat Clemson at home in 10 years, and so they want to. They're gonna do it this year. I think it's 2013 was the last time they beat Clemson at home, and so they're gonna make a big statement. They want to make a splash, and they want to solidify their name in the college football playoff talk. And so this is how they're going to do it this week. So I'm taking Clemson 35-17. I mean, not Clemson, but FSU 35-17 over Clemson. All right. Let's go to the next one. Oh, Justin Little. Justin Little says Clemson 24-21. Wow.
Oh, Clemson folks, look at that.
Akaki says quit spending so much time on Clemson. We're ruining the show. All right, Auburn and A&M. What you got, Matt?
So I picked this game because, first of all, we're playing Auburn next week, and so this is. So I'm wondering, is Auburn going to be looking ahead to Georgia, or are they just going to come out and flat skull drug this team across the field? And because Texas A&M once again preseason ranked and is not living up to those measurements like always. I'm gonna pick. I was like, come back to me. I'm torn. I'm torn. I can't figure it out. I can't. I had a decision. I was gonna do it, and now I'm second guessing myself because I said I was gonna play by my mind, not my heart. And now they're fighting inside of me.
Never second guess.
All right, Kevin, what you got?
Oh gosh.
He hadn't picked. No, we're not gonna leave Matt. Come on, Matt.
I'll come back. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna come back.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Brian gets to come back. Why can I come back?
All right. Auburn. All right. Here we go. Auburn struggled with Cal on the road. I'll give you that out in California. Texas A&M got beat by Miami on the road. With that being said, I think Texas A&M has more to play for because they have that one loss than Auburn does at this point. And to your point, Auburn is looking ahead to UGA next week. And because of that, and Auburn is playing on the road at A&M, I think Auburn loses this game 42-30.
I like it. See, Dad says A&M 31, Auburn 17. John Akaki says motorcycle rally Petrino 28-21. Ken Lalonde says Aggies have to win sometime 30-24. So I think he's taking the Aggies there. Kel Newsom says I hate Auburn, but I'm going to say Auburn 21-10. Let's see. Who said this? Looking. Grady Darcy says Plainsman 24, Oil Money 21. How about that? All right, Matt. Have you decided? Have you made a decision,
Yes.
sir?
I made a decision. I'm going to go between my mind and my heart. So that's how it's going to work. So I honestly, I really care about Georgia games only. So I'm going to look to the future, and I want that matchup between Georgia and Auburn to be two undefeated teams on the national stage. I don't want Georgia to go to Auburn with a butt hurt and pissed off Auburn team that maybe can pull something out of their butt maybe and put a game on us. I want us to go in there. We got to show up. We got to beat this team. So I'm going to pull for the Auburn to win the game against the Jimbo Fishers who are on their way down.
Well, I have to say I'm going to take A&M, and I'll tell you why. I think Jimbo Fisher and Bobby Petrino are coaching for their jobs, and they've got to win every game they could potentially win to save their career, because they're going to get fired if they don't. So I'm taking A&M by 3. And I don't even know what the score is going to be, but I'm just going to say by 3. It's going to come down to the wire. All right, next game. Now, this is going to be a fun one right here. Colorado at Oregon. Colorado at Oregon. What do you got?
I'll go first. It's Oregon. Go ahead. Next person.
But do you really think that Oregon's going to cover that 21-point spread?
No, I don't care about Oregon to cover the points. I care about the win the game.
Okay. All right.
They're not.
I mean, it's as simple as that. I'm sorry. that Colorado has stormed the field after they beat a unwinnable team. Team hasn't won a game yet. They stormed the field over double overtime. That shows you how terrible this team really is. And it hasn't come out yet because they've beaten a TCU team who's struggling still struggling TCU team. And they're going to come and play Oregon. And Bo Nix in all his glory is going to embarrass them. And it's going to be a battle. It's going to be this game could be 50 points each team for sure. But it's going to be interesting. That speed is going to work. This speed is going to work its way out on Colorado.
All right, so both of y'all are taking Oregon?
Yeah, taking Oregon, 38-27.
All right, Dad says 37-27.
Oh, wow.
Danny, let's see. This is Grady Darcy says Dan Lanning's Ducks 38, Neon Dion Humboldt 10. I like it. Kel Newsom says Colorado by 7. Ken Lalonde says Dion wants to go back to D2. Ducks 45, Buffs 21. And Akaki says the Buffaloes get stuck in Oregon's Duck Swamp. Ducks 34-24. I like all of those. I'm going to go to Oregon too. I think Oregon's going to win by 10. Going to be a shootout though. Probably a lot more scoring than I would like for it to happen on a Dan Lanning defense. But yeah, it's going to be a high scoring game for sure. I would say 60 points combined, if not more. That is for sure. All right, next one, UCLA and Utah. Why'd you pick this one, Matt?
I just think there's two teams that could maybe eventually push forward the pack, whatever the hell they're called nowadays. I think it's just going to be a close game. That's why I kind of picked some of these games, because I think they're going to be closer games and mostly polarizing games throughout the country. But I'm still going to take Utah in this game. But I just think TCU UCLA may be one of those surprise teams who may go 10-2 this year and will maybe be pushing for a conference title.
Gotcha. Kevin, what you think on this one?
I really am not sure why I might pick these games, but these two teams have.
I'm challenging your viewpoints, man.
Oh my gosh, these two teams have not really faced any power teams at all, and all their games have been low-scoring games. So I will not expect anything different. I've got Utah winning 28-17.
Yeah, Ken Lalonde says Utes 21-17. Dad says Utah wins. Let's see. Hakaki says Utah's defense and physical nature rules the day, 31-13. Grady Darcy says UCLA 14, Utah 13. Yawn. Wow. And Kel Newsom says Utah wins 24-20. Yeah, I'm taking Utah. I think they're just a more physical team. I'm going to go Utah as well. Ole Miss, Alabama. This is the one that I wanted to talk about. All right. So Matt doesn't want to hear it, but we're going to talk about it.
Go ahead and play your videos.
Matt
just sit back, Matt.
About this game.
All right, so there's been so much drama about this game this week, y'all. If you haven't been keeping up with it, it's like watching a soap opera. It is hilarious. So you guys know that Jalen Milroe did not play last week, right? He was benched. Right. The word on the street is that he was asked to give up some first team reps to allow some of the backup quarterbacks to get some work. He pitched a fit, was not very professional about it, caused a rift in the locker room. Some of the team was trying to lay down. They weren't going to play. And so Nick Saban was making an example out of him and benched him for the game. You guys know he didn't play a snap. Not one snap. And they come very close to losing that game last week. So the very first thing in Nick Saban's press conference, he comes out and he says, Kevin Steele is the defensive coordinator. I'm not sure where all this started and why there's a discussion about it. Nobody even asked him about this. This is totally uncharacteristic of Nick Saban to come out and say, Kevin Steele's my defensive coordinator without being asked about it, right? He just jumped right off the page. The second thing he says is Jalen Milroe is going to be our starting quarterback. And he really impressed me with his leadership during the last game, and he's going to be starting back over. All of these things tell me that there is a crack. There's a divide in the leadership somewhere, somehow, and Lane Kiffin has picked up on it, and you guys know Lane Kiffin is the biggest goof, right? He puts the craziest stuff on Twitter, but he's picked up on it, and he has found a chink in the armor, and he's driving a wedge wherever he can drive it. And so he was asked about his comments this week, and I just thought maybe I'd throw you a little video to show you what he had to say about it.
Lane, what did you see on film that led you to make the comment last night about Coach Robinson coaching their defense?
That was, again, I was asked the question what it was like going against Steele's defense, so I wasn't really trying to start this big thing. We saw things on TV copy just where it was different, of first off of what the play looked like, the calls and stuff, and then so we looked into that further, and then, I mean, it ain't no secret. We kind of, people in these buildings know each other, so obviously got some information that way too. So, it just is what it is, kind of like the quarterbacks. You got to prepare for a different quarterback, prepare for a different play caller. So we got a game film of that. I'm not sure whatever transpired after Texas, but we're going to have our hands full no matter what.
I'm not sure how they know that Kevin Steele is not the play caller, but whether it's the truth or not, it has caused a major rift this week, and everybody's talking about it, and I think it's freaking hilarious. So, they struggled with the game last week in Florida, right? In Tampa, and so all these people are calling into the Paul Feinbaum show. They're calling into McElroy and Kublik complaining. They're like, we've had the top 5 recruiting classes in the last 5 years, and we got all these 5-star quarterbacks. How come nobody can properly evaluate them? You tell me that these quarterbacks aren't any good, and my mind just kind of peaked up, and my ears perked up just a little bit. And it reminded me of a conversation I had with John Akaki earlier this summer where he says, Brian, these players that Alabama are recruiting, 1 minute they're 2 stars and 3 stars, and then they commit to Alabama, and then magically they're 4 stars to 5 stars. And I was like, I didn't think anything of it when he said it, but Greg McElroy made this point on the show when somebody was talking about the 4 stars and 5 stars. He says, and I preface the rest of the video I'm going to play for you. But he says, I've played with 3 stars that are studs, and I've played with 5 stars that are duds. And then he says this.
But I want everyone to acknowledge this as well. When you look at like the 247 rankings and stuff, guys get 4 stars because they get recruited by Alabama. Not the other way around. Not like, oh, well, Bama's getting all the 4 stars and 5 stars. A lot of times they receive an additional star because they get recruited to Alabama or to Georgia or to other places. So that when 247 sells subscriptions, and this is not knocking them, it's a good business model. When they sell subscriptions, they make sure that the quote recruiting classes looked loaded to certain schools so that when the national championship is awarded later in the year, they're able to go back and say, well, oh, see, look, this team had been kicking butt and taking names. And I think that's, so just take into account the 4 and 5 star stuff. And it's not always the same. It's not always equitable, but
I say all that to say, and I wish I'd have pulled this video up I played for you guys last year when Kirby was asked, how much stock do you put into the star rankings? And he says 0. Mm-hmm. Thank God we've got Kirby Smart as our head coach. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, enough on the Alabama rant. Give me your predictions, Matt. I know you don't even want to talk about it, but we're talking about it.
I mean, this is to my point about we spend a lot of time. We love the demise of Alabama. We really do.
I do.
We feel like the demise of Alabama means the uplifting of Georgia, and it's just like I said. I've said it 2 years ago when we talked about this stuff. There's no such thing, and Georgia will not be the new Alabama. We're not going to be that. We're going to be the new Georgia. So we got to stop competing with that mindset. That's why I don't like talking about Alabama, because I don't even compare myself to them. I want to be the new Georgia. I want to set new standards, new precedents with our team versus trying to compare ourselves to past teams. That's my only drift. But that's what it is. What it is. I digress. So here, honestly, I'm gonna pick Alabama. I don't want to. I'm going to. I think for the reasons why you said, I think even if how dysfunctional that team may be right now, I think they'll be at home. I don't think Ole Miss has a defense to really stop no matter who they really play. I mean, they struggled with Georgia Tech last week. Let's be honest. And they got better athletes, 2 stars or 5 stars, however which grading you're looking at it, than they do on Alabama's side. So I just think they may rise up and they may have a really good game. So I think Alabama takes them down. That's me.
Kevin?
Well, I feel totally opposite of what Matt does. I love the downfall of Alabama. I love watching it take place because I had to suffer through the many, many years of Georgia just sucking wind and having to hear that. I'm not even going to say it. Everybody knows the 2 words that is synonymous with Alabama. I'm not going to say it because it makes me puke. So I had to hear that constantly over and over and over again. And now I get to go back to these same Alabama fans that are now suffering because they are sucking wind. This team is not where that standard used to be, and I will point out, not where it used to be when Kirby Smart was with Alabama. And I will still adamantly point out that I think Kirby Smart was the secret sauce at Alabama. It was never Nick Saban. But here's what I know from this season. Alabama is struggling to find an identity. They can't even make a decision on their quarterback. They are struggling through this season. They've already been beaten by Texas. That was one loss that I had at the beginning of the season. This is number 2. Ole Miss is rolling. They have already beat teams that were ranked teams. I had picked last week, if you remember, I picked Georgia Tech to beat Ole Miss. Ole Miss come out and throttled Georgia Tech. That's not saying much, but they did throttle them nevertheless. So I have Ole Miss winning this game, upsetting Alabama, out in Alabama, 37-28.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. That's
You
what
can
I'm
say
talking
what you
about.
want. Say what you want, but Alabama still won 2 championships without Kirby Smart.
With Kirby Smart's players.
Oh, we lost Matt.
Yep. He's in the backdrop.
Oh, is
I'm
he
right here. I
back?
see you.
Okay. You dropped off for just a second, and then you came right back on.
They won those championships with Kirby Smart's players. They have not won one since without Kirby Smart's players.
All right. So Grady Darcy says correct. We are UGA. We don't want to be the next Bama. Look at UGA's defense and Bama's. UGA's defense and Bama's defense is Kirby. Has been at UGA. Dogs defense has been number 1 for 4 years. Kirby was the defense at Bama. Bama and Saban didn't build Kirby. I totally agree with that. Justin Little says roll tears. Roll hotty toddy. I like it. I like it. I like it. Let's see. Let's get some more predictions in here. Let's see. Allie Johnson. She works for me. She says Ole Miss by 7. Something is in the Alabama's house is going wrong. I totally agree with that. Kel Newsom says Ole Miss 27-21, just because I want to see Alabama lose again. Yeah, that'll be the first time that Alabama's lost their first 2 home games ever since Nick Saban's been there. So, if that happens, let's see who else. Kel Newsom was on here. I saw his prediction. Oh, that one. I just gave you that one.
Yep.
Let's see.
Your dad was there. What did your dad say?
Let's see. Ole Miss 27. Lane. Ole Miss 27. Bama 38. Lane Kiffin walks out angry. Who said that? I missed that one. I don't know who said that. It was in here somewhere. Well, I missed that one. I don't know who said that, but that's a pretty good comment. And Dad says Alabama 31-28, but I hope not.
Lane Kiffin walks out angry. That was Grady Darcy.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Now, don't get me wrong. I want Bama to lose. I'll be rooting against them the entire game. That's what I want. But I think what will happen is they will escape out with a victory.
Gotcha. Well, I'm just going to tell you, it's either put up or shut up for Lane Kiffin. And, buddy, he better put up, or they're going to be he's going to be wanting to shut up after this one, because he's got the best team, he's got the best quarterback. I'm taking Ole Miss. I don't want to, but I'm taking Ole Miss. They're going to win big. I'm going to say they're going to win 17 points. They're going to win big. They're going to win big.
Ooh.
Yep.
Like it, baby.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. We've got to move on because we are way over. Notre Dame, Ohio State. This is going to be a great game too, y'all. This is going to be a good one.
This is the I don't care who wins bowl. This is why I really wish both teams could lose if possible. Because I really, truly, I have a passionate hate for these two teams. I mean, I really do. I mean, I have a really hatred for both of these teams. And I have friends who love both these teams. So that's kind of where I get stuck a little bit there. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, if we see the Notre Dame team of this year who's looks really electrified, like not like the teams of the past. Like we've seen teams in the past where they looked okay against the lower tier teams and stuff. This team looks different than the ones in the past of the Kelly era. They don't look as soft and finesse. They look a little more, and some of that could be the new quarterback there. I definitely am not sold like the mass media is on Ohio State. I'm really not. I don't think the quarterback is the quarterback that's going to take them to the championship. I don't see it. He's got two great receivers, like 2 first-round receivers, and he still can't get the ball to him. So I don't from that instance, I don't trust Ohio State with this, even though they're at home. They're at Notre Dame. At Notre Dame. So that's why, with all of my hatred of Rudy, is going for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I'm picking Notre Dame. There's no doubt in my mind. Sam Hartman is showing out. He has got the buy-in of the players. He's either a 5th or 6th year senior, grad transfer from Wake Forest. has all the experience in the world. He's like another Stetson Bennett that has elevated his play in the last year. I see this as a statement game for Notre Dame. They want to see themselves as a college playoff committee talking point. They want to solidify themselves in the college playoff talk. And so they're going to win this one big. I see them winning by 14 or 17 points in this game at home. The fans are not going to allow Ohio State to buy their tickets. I've already seen that going around social media. There's a huge push not to sell their tickets. They don't want what happened when Georgia came to town and took over the stadium. They don't want Ohio State to do that. So they are not selling their tickets to Ohio State fans. So look for Notre Dame to win big here and make a statement against the Bucks. Kevin, go.
I totally agree with you. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I got Notre Dame 36-21.
Got it. Cool. All right, let's get some comments. Can't stand OSU. Notre Dame 6 by 6. Okay. OSU 17, Notre Dame 20. Okay. Ken Lalonde says, hate it, but I think the Irish are better, 31-24. Dad says Notre Dame 30, Ohio State 20. Akaki, wow. I like Notre Dame's Hartman and their massive offensive line. Notre Dame 31-28. Let's see, who's this? This is Grady Darcy, Notre Dame by 6. 23, OSU 17. And Kel Newsom says, I also strongly dislike both teams, but I'm going to say Notre Dame by 20 because I just don't think Ohio State has it this year. Yep, totally agree. Totally agree. All right, game of the week. Matt, take it away, buddy.
I really like this matchup in the sense that the previous these teams so far we played this year have really been pass-oriented teams, and so that's something that we've struggled with in the past. So I like the development of seeing where our secondary is and seeing how we accommodate the passing game. And so another team, once again, this is another top 10 team in passing for us in the nation. I mean, they may not be a great team, but they're an efficient passing team that we're going to go up against to really test us when we go to some other teams that we struggle with in the past. You know, we struggled with LSU. We struggled with Ohio State in the passing game last year. These are going to help us for the future. So that's how we look at these games. These are development for the end of the season. We're in the playoffs looking for another national championship. Still taking Georgia. I'm going to say 42-6.
All right, Kevin.
All right, this was going to be a blowout game. This is going to be the one where the Dogs come out and they set the tone for the rest of the season. This is one where you see our running game take off. We finally get Dejon Edwards back. He has a huge game, over 100 yards rushing in this game. Got the Dogs winning huge, 52-6.
I like it. Dad says 41-13. Akaki says 31-3 at the half, final 52-6. I like that score. Let's see. I'm not sure who posted this. Kevin, if you see who posted that, I don't know. Grady Darcy says Dogs won't be down at half. Dogs 41. Bam, 0 shutout. I like it. And Ken Lalonde says 55-10 Dogs. I like that too. Kel Newsom says 53-10 Dogs all day. All right. I'm taking the Dogs, of course. But I'm going to tell you, until they can prove to me that we can score more than 50 points, I'm not saying we're going to go 50 points. Gosh, at this point, I just want to say like 37 or something, right? I may say 35. I'm going to say 35-0 because if we haven't proved that we can score more than 35 points, I'm just going to go 35-0. That's my prediction.
All
right, guys. Any final thoughts?
No, I just want to see them come out and tear up the first quarter instead of waiting until the second or the third quarter to take hold of a game. That's what I want to see.
So Mr. Akaki says he's going to give us some pick'ems classes here at the house whenever we want them. He's already thrown in an extra game here. LSU 41, MSU 24.
That was last week's game. It was close.
All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up, guys?
No, I still don't think we're going to show a whole bunch. I mean, I know you guys are, I want to see them play and do more blitzing and stuff and prepare for Auburn. I think they're still going to hold that stuff for Auburn. I think they're going to still keep it inside. You're still going to see 3, 4, guys coming down the quarterback, and we're just going to try to contain. I don't think we're going to still show those crazy blitzes to give away anything to Auburn.
Yep, totally agree, Kevin.
Yeah, like I said, I think this is one of those games where I just want to see them start fast. I think once again having Dejon Edwards back is going to be a key point of getting that fast start, because you establish the run game and establish it early, which opens up the pass game. We all know that, which will allow us, before we have to wear down their defensive line and their secondary so the pass starts working, we will already be wearing them down with the run game and, be moving down the field and scoring points. That's what I want to see. I would love to see us up, by 3 touchdowns, early in the first quarter. That'd be awesome.
Well, guys, appreciate you being on. Sorry that we went over by 17 minutes. I think this might set the record for the longest show that we've ever done, but had a lot of stuff that I wanted to cover. Hey, we're going to host the UAB Blazing Dragons. Have no doubts that we're going to come home with a win, but we definitely want to see an improved team. Want to see a cohesive team. Want to see the team that comes out and explodes in the first quarter. But I'm Brian, Mr. Matt, the Four Finger Wonder, and Kevin. We're here for you, the Middle Georgia Dog Pound, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs.